Hello, hello. Okay, so we've got the Friday show today is the day where we look at a bunch of stuff on the Discord before we get into studies. I've got the study already set up. I'm excited to get going in my study, but I'm also really more excited to check out the finals. Hello, Kim. Welcome. I'm really excited to check out the challenges for the weekly challenge. This was the Studio Ghibli Tribute Challenge. And I'd seen a couple of previews, and some people had done some freaking awesome work. So I want to take a look at it with you. And if anybody is here who wants to pop on stage, I guess we don't have a lot of people in the audience today. We got Omen, we got Ken Sharp, but there is a stage over on the Huckleberry Discord server where it's live on Twitch, and I'm going to do the turn on camera over here and get the VCam going so that you guys can see me on there too. And if you come over to the stage and you want to pop up on stage to discuss your weekly submission, you can come over here. I see Jack is over in the other channel. People are getting, when I was doing this live on the Discord from a voice channel, we usually had people popping in and hanging out. And then from the stage, I think it's a little less convenient. So we've had less attendance over on the Discord side while we've been getting more attendance over on the Twitch side. Perfectly fine. But I do like it during these Friday streams when you guys pop up and hang out. So if you want to make your way over there, feel free to follow the Discord link and come and join me over on that stage instead of on Twitch if you want to discuss your submission into the weekly challenge. So as I said, this week's weekly challenge was the Studio Ghibli Tribute. So let's take a look at it really quick, and then we are going to be, somebody's going to get a banana sticker by the end of this thing, and then we are going to be like going into today's study. I feel like there's been a lot of like sort of slowly crawling through all the submissions, and then immediately getting hit by a strong entry right here. Oh, man. Yeah, I've been talking about my own workout routine a little bit too much on stream, I think, and now it's starting to bleed into the submissions. This is, this is me right here. I've always related to Kiki's delivery service, this whole idea where, like, Kiki has these magic powers, and then she ends up using those magic powers to try to build a small business, and then they kind of, like, escape from her, and, like, she loses connection back to her spirit animal and all this kind of stuff, and then it's through using those powers to help other people that she gets them back. And it to me, it feels like this amazing like analysis of like what it's like to be a creative person and the ups and downs of like your relationship with your creative abilities and how they kind of feel magical. And so me, I've been thinking about art, and I've been thinking about pumping iron, and so here's me flying across the clouds. That man, thank you very much. This is very, very excellent. I've never seen a Ghibli movie. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I think you're flexing on us. Oh shit! What a perfect style. Like what a perfect encapsulation of the Studio Ghibli style. I think we got to bone zone that. Oh, and like there's no bone zone over here. This is like my favorite reaction right now, so I'm just gonna overuse it on everybody's stuff. Oh, Ilchi. I don't know if I've seen you around here before. What an excellent entry. Incredible looking. Ooh. Vlad coming in. When I think of Vlad, are you here in the room? Yeah, he was here a minute ago. I've got to be able, if people want to raise their hands and come up on here. But Dustin, can you let people up if they raise their hands and they want to come on stage to this? Because otherwise I have to switch back and forth between channels. Okay. Vlad's got a lot to say here. When I think of Ghibli art, what first springs to mind...
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you. The nice green landscapes with all the grass and the leaves and the trees and the rocks and the moss. I think that's what we're thinking of here. And I love painting all that, but this time I want to do something completely different. Technically, this isn't even on topic, since it's a painting of Princess Kushana from the Nausicaa manga, not the Ghibli film. But it's still a Miyazaki tribute. But since this isn't a competition, I guess that's good enough. My reason behind all this is that I wanted to pay homage to the brutality and honesty of Miyazaki's work. or at least his work that I appreciate the most. It's about facing the truth of what we humans are as embodied in our leaders, our warrior princesses, our strong female characters, destructive, warlike, ambitious, and unrelenting. Of course, Miyazaki had his noble protagonists who show us what we could and should do better, but I love his darker characters, the admirable but deeply flawed antagonists. Yeah, I totally agree. It's something that I think we totally look over. And Nausicaa was, I think, the first Ghibli film that I saw, not really knowing what it was, just knowing that it was like big and intense and different. And I came back to it years later, knowing more about it and just being kind of shocked that this Studio Ghibli film has like this, it's like, it seems like this fun family adventure, and then people start getting fucking murked during the end, and you're like, whoa, this is the tone shift here is shocking. And so, but it's like, his first grand epic, I think, and I think while he's made, like, he's really defined his work through later films, there's something that I feel like we get like a closer look at Miyazaki's like philosophy and perspective, all rolled up, and all the complexities of it all trying to be rolled up into one big thing in Nausicaa, which is cool because like in later films he sort of teases apart the different aspects of himself and the different like parts of his philosophy and perspective into different pieces. But like, when you're taking a big swing on your first major production, you want to say everything. And so Nausicaa feels to me like he's trying to say everything about these relationship with the earth and with like the nature of humanity and all this. And it's like, and so you end up with like these really harsh, brutal, violent moments intermixed with like these quiet, contemplative ones. LGN fucking killing it. Oh my God. I love big puffy clouds. This whole thing just feels like the mood and the vibe of it is so perfect. Getting big reactions out here. It's good to see. I can tell like a lot of you here, like me, are big Miyazaki fans, even that man who claims to have never seen one of the movies. Here's my monstrous cat bus. We got the Bloodborne cat bus from Martin DLR. I've only seen Howl's Moving Castle. Howl's Moving Castle is a really good movie, Del Monsta. It's a really good one, but if you liked it at all, you should check out some of the other ones. This is obviously from My Neighbor Totoro. I was about to say Totoro's delivery service. And like, it's so slice of life and simple and like relatable, and then at the end it just gets like totally surreal, and this bus made of flesh with a giant evil cat head on it like appears out of nowhere, and like these kids treat it like it's not the scariest thing they've ever seen. Like, I've honestly always thought the cat bus was kind of scary all on its own, but like an evil demonic cat bus I think takes that idea even further. That definitely needs a spooky boy on it. Horror adaptation of The Red Turtle. Wow. Taking it definitely in your own direction. the ultra violence. Bringing it to like, this is the thing. There's sort of a duality here. If it's like, do you want to create something original in the Studio Ghibli style, or are you going to take the Studio Ghibli content and turn it into your own thing? And so we've got like the light and dark side of this whole the light and dark side of humanity here. Jackalack coming in with another super strong entry this week. I saw this piece a little earlier. I love it. I love Spirited Away. I think it's tough for me to pick between my favorite Ghibli films, between Spirited Away and Kiki's Delivery Service, because Kiki kind of, I feel, speaks more directly to my experience. But I think Spirited Away is probably Miyazaki's best film, and so anything Spirited Away always captures my attention a little bit. There are Ghibli films made by other directors. It's true. I've seen a bunch of them. There's a couple of decent ones, but there's also all the Goro Miyazaki films, which I have not liked at all. So, the non-Miyazaki Ghibli films are out there. I am not. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen all the Miyazaki ones. I haven't seen all the other non-Miyazaki Ghibli films. But yeah, I love Haku. I love the amount of time that you spent on this. The intense amount of texture and detail to bring this to life. It's very cool to see. Thank you so much for putting all this effort into it. Final page plus close-ups. Yeah. This is like, yeah. I mean, this is the thing about Ghibli is like I'd say, oh, it's one of my favorites. It's like, yeah, they're all kind of different versions of my favorites. Like, I really have a super big soft spot for Porco Rosso, and Mononoke Hime hit me at like just the right age when I was like super into anime as a teenager, and I got to go see it in theaters, and it was like, you know, this big cinematic experience of anime that I'd never gotten to experience before. But yeah, going back and rewatching Porco Rosso, I love it so much because like I do relate to Porco. It's like kind of like, you know, he's kind of this like huge asshole with a heart of gold. I think this has got to be the most autobiographical character that Miyazaki's made. Where like I watch this and I'm like, this is absolutely Miyazaki drawing a portrait of himself. Yue, yes, this is you. Great job. I love these drawings. I love the incredible amount of energy that you're bringing to this. And with Sen, it's like hard to even overdo it because Sen is such like a dynamic and like an agile character. And then yeah, Porco with the dust sprites from Spirited Away. I love the setting. The romanticism of the setting is like I just wish there was like more stuff out there in the world that was like this like deeply romanticized version of this point in history, this like idea of the heroic seaplane pilots, and you know, the little bar on an island out in the Adriatic is so special. And then yeah, you get to see this little glimpse behind the curtain of Miyazaki getting to sort of write himself into the movie for a minute, where, you know, he's just kind of a, you know, lecherous, self-centered asshole. And but you know, he's not really that bad of a guy, and the whole story of it like isn't even really a story. It's like there's almost no character growth, there's like almost no conflict. It's just like, you'd think that a story about a bunch of people like fighting in fighter jets would have like a big dramatic arc, but like it's this like this weird romp that is like exploring this world and these characters, and like each scene is this kind of like exploration of what is fun and cool about the idea of this setting, but it like doesn't go anywhere. much like you know, My Neighbor Totoro is sort of like this beautiful textural piece that doesn't really have like a narrative to it, and it kind of doesn't matter because everything about it is so charming and so inviting that like you kind of just want to live there and you don't really care. Or at least that's how I experience it. I love Porco Rosso. Realm Ethereal, calling it done on this one from Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. Done in my style. I admit I'm not very familiar with the subject matter of this week's challenge. I Googled it and I found something I thought would hold my interest while painting. You should check out these movies. They're pretty good. Nausicaa, I would say if you're going to jump into the Ghibli canon, you've seen My Neighbor Totoro around. Don't start there. That movie's really weird. Nausicaa's weird in its own different way. It's kind of like, what if like Lord of the Rings, but with like bugs and mushrooms? It's like this giant fantasy epic in this incredibly strange world that's like so far apart from reality. I think something like Howl's Moving Castle is a great place to jump in, just because it plays with such familiar fantasy tropes in this in charming style. Yeah, Nausicaa is very good, but I'm just saying, for somebody who's coming into this for the first time, check out Nausicaa eventually, but like I would say work your way backwards through the canon a little bit. Start with the more recent Ghibli films. They are much more accessible, I think, and then work your way backwards to discover like, when you're like, okay, I would want 3 more of these, like, then you can appreciate more like what is cool and different and interesting about Nausicaa, and like Castle in the Sky. Start with Kiki. I mean, Kiki's a good place to start. I love that. That is definitely the one I have the strongest emotional relationship with. So it's hard for me not to recommend it, and it is actually a story. Ponyo is good. Ponyo is good, and that's what I'm saying. The more recent ones, they're these giant spectacles. Jack-O-Lantern coming in with a double entry again, just flexing on everybody. Jack-O-Lantern just like lives here and just does challenges and dailies all day, and I love it. Thank you so much for always contributing so much to these challenges. And this one's from Spirited Away. No Face is such an iconic character. This weird monster turn scene is like so incredible to see. It's like hard to imagine how they put this movie together with all these moving pieces, like all of the little extras animated in the background while this guy's like blowing through all the walls of the fucking bathhouse is unbelievable. Like it's hard to imagine. Like it would be hard enough to do in 3D, but the idea that this movie was ever made in 2D is incredible. That like the feat that it's like this grand, to me it's like this grand human accomplishment. Castle in the Sky is underrated. Castle in the Sky is excellent, and if it was the only movie he ever made, it would be seen as an all-time classic. I think there's just a shadow being cast that's too large from the other Miyazaki canon. Spirited Away seems to be very mainstream accessible. At least that's the one I hear non-fans knowing. Yeah, it is super accessible. I think I'm pretty sure this is his best film. I remember seeing it in theaters and thinking, like, he's not going to top that. He can't top it. It's like, I feel bad for the fact that every Miyazaki film I see after this is going to be seen as being slightly compared against Spirited Away because it's unbeatable. Inspired by Kiki, it's looking out over a town. I love the shadows and the colors of the buildings in the film. Yeah, very, very cool. Thank you so much, Lena Ray. This is, I love you taking the, like, style and the themes of this and doing it in your own particular style, like bringing an extra layer of flavor to something that is already so flavorful and charming. Excellent, excellent job. Charlie, I saw you working on this. I thought this came out great. You got the vibes in there. There's a sense of mystery to the Ghibli films where, like, it's sort of like when you're exploring an unfamiliar city and you come across these, like, little pockets, these little pocket parks. This is exactly the vibe that I also am familiar with. I think you've done a great job on this. I know you're saying that didn't finish. It's pretty finished. It really depends on your definition of finished, I think. Gallifrey agrees with me. It's the one to beat. And No Face. I love it. Have you seen the No Face Bank? I think I have. It's really cool. Yeah, and I like the mixture of the hand-drawn, of like the painted backgrounds with the cel-shaded look. I just have to call that out. Because there's the juxtaposition between like the gouache painted backgrounds of a lot of Ghibli films with the cel-shaded animation that creates a very particular look that's like instantly nostalgic. Sleepy. Every single time, always bringing his sense of charm and humor to the thing. Getting to see one of my favorite films envisioned in your style is a real treat, man. Every time. I don't know why. This instantly caught me off guard as soon as it pulled up on screen. Every time. I feel like I should drop your Instagram. Now, I recently followed Sleepy on Instagram. I found his secret Instagram. What is it? I need to figure out what it is though. I followed him and then I lost it. I'm following 249 people. It's not Sleepy and it's not his name. He's got a different name. That's his old World of Warcraft name. That is his. And I'm not sure what order everything appears when I look at like who I'm following on Instagram. It's like 249 of them, and they're all in like an awkward order. Can you drop, Sleepy, if you're watching, can you drop me your Instagram? If anybody knows where to find this. There he is. Rama-look with a 4 for an A. Secret sleepy Instagram. I was wondering where he was on social media because I was like, he's been going into the entries, into the weekly entries every week and producing incredible work, and yet he's like a ghost. I found his old Deviant art, stuff that he meant to erase off the internet and then failed to fully expunge. Max Kalaman coming in with another strong send piece. Doing it all traditionally, hardcore style. Wait, I gotta do Bone Zone. Bone Zone. And then this is also deserving of a wolf too because of send. And then Chong with the final entry, another Princess Mononoke. I love this whole movie. There's like such a... this character. It's like... You see her and you immediately want to be like friends with her. It's like the badass girl in school, and you're like, oh, I want to be friends with you, but I don't know how to talk to you because you're scary. But I gotta give a banana sticker out today. Tough. Well, some of my favorite entries in here already have banana stickers. There's been some really good ones today. I'm almost certain that I know who I want to give it to. And that is Lena Ray. You're getting a banana sticker today because I love the fact you got the Good at Art roll, which gives you the banana sticker. There's already bananas over here. I love that you brought your own style and mixed it with the Ghibli style, and the fact that like there is such a meshing of the two, and that like you're bringing so much of your own personality to this is really winning me over. So thank you so much for the entry. It looks great. I just want to poke in the dailies really quick. I've been noticing a really good amount of dailies coming through recently, and I got to tell you, this is like one of my favorite things about this Discord. Seeing you guys post dailies here every time. I know I'm just like popping mine in or whatever, but I do scroll through and check these out. I look at every daily entry that comes through, and it feels to me like proof that you're all on the same journey along with me. Ooh, Dasha, this one's solid. I struggled so much with this. I really love the amount of personality put into this. It's so good to see like everybody pushing to try to improve and be better together. It feels like we're all pushing in the same direction and encouraging each other by getting these, by like working on studies every single day, whether it's easy or hard. I've had some struggles this week. I had some ones that I felt like I had a really hard time with. And then I've had a couple that I'm really happy with. And it's like this up and down roller coaster with the dailies. And I'm sure that some of you are feeling it too, that sometimes you get a couple of good ones. You're so proud. You get a lot of reactions on the Discord. And then you have another day and you're just like, ooh, I didn't bring it today. I don't know how to bring it. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel so dumb. And like the only thing we can do with that feeling is to like, just gather ourselves up and start fresh next day, brand new daily, brand new attempt to do the best version of ourselves. And we never get to choose when we're going to do well at art. We just get to choose to keep showing up and keep trying and hoping for the best. And I'm out here doing it in front of you guys, trying my best every single day, and then sometimes fucking it up and sometimes doing a good job. And it's like, that's all any of us are ever able to do. And so like, let's just do it together and be supportive of each other. It's been always good to see everyone hanging out in the voice chat every single day, just like chilling, working, chit-chatting, sharing stuff, talking about process. It's excellent to have you all around in this community. It's been my favorite place to hang out on the internet, and it's all because you guys are all participating. So I was telling myself I was going to prepare a week in advance for the weekly challenge so I could announce it here on the stream, but I didn't. So I'm going to come up with a challenge idea by the end of the stream, I think, and then I'll announce it before the end of the stream. We'll figure it out. I really am like thirsty for getting into the to my daily today. I've got kind of an easy image for myself. And that should leave us with a, let's see, I'm going to pull up the main viewer. There we go. I've got a little bit of an easy image for myself today, which makes it Oh yeah, I just realized I was showing off Sleepy's fucking link on the screen and no one could see it because it was only showing the Discord. I love when I do that. This image is going to be a little bit easier, but I'm also going to try to keep it down closer to 2 hours. So I've got 90 minutes left to start and finish my daily today. Something that no longer scares me because I have failed too many times too publicly to really get that concerned about failing one more time. It's just going to be another struggle fest or another huge win. One of the two. We pull the lever and we find out whether or not we're good at art today. Challenge idea, something Lovecraftian. Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm also going to create the giveaway.
Yes.
Another XP pen.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, we got reminders. Number one, we're going to be giving away an XP Pen Deco Fun Large. That's it's a 10 by 6 pen tablet, no screen. If you have a janky, tiny pen tablet, or you have no pen tablet at all, please go ahead and go to the Friday giveaway channel under the text channels on the Discord, linking the Discord again. And all you need to do is click on the emote, and you will be able to win one of these. Friday giveaway. There's been a little bit of confusion in the past about what we're giving away, so I am going to pull it up on screen and link to it so that you guys know exactly what it is we're giving away. Because some people are like, want it, and then they went, oh, I don't need one of those. I've got something better. It's a really basic thing. Linking it in the chat. This is the Amazon listing. It's the XP Pen Deco Fun Large Graphic Drawing Tablets. 6 by 10 inches digital drawing pad art tablet with 8,192 levels of pressure, battery-free stylus for digital drawing, animation, online teaching, black, and if you want it in blue, green, or red, happy to provide that as well. The large size is very, very similar to the size that I use. This is the same features of the tablet that I use. 8,192 levels of pressure. That's more levels than I think I need. Probably the same amount that mine does. Honestly, the level of precision, the fact that it's batteryless, it is effectively the same quality tablet as the one I use. And you can get one for free. It's a large? Yes, it's a large, but large for XP Pen is 10 inches wide by 6 inches tall, which is some number of centimeters. That is it's the medium-sized Wacom tablet is the large size XP Pen is what I'm getting at. So yeah, giveaway bot, there is a emote that you can click and you get entered to win. We'll be announcing at the end of the show. We'll be announcing it in 50 minutes. And one of the people who enters that, we're going to mail it away to him for free, no cost. Hola, Nexty, hello, welcome. Okay. So with that out of the way, I am going to do this. And I was asked by twitch.tv.com themselves to tell you guys to follow the stream. That you should follow me because then you know when I'm going to go live. I'm going live 3 days a week at the same time, trying to keep it easy. But if you want a notification, go ahead and click that follow button. Apparently, when I tell you to do it, more people do it, which is something I guess makes sense. But I just presume if you wanted to follow me, you would have done it already. But for whatever reason, maybe I'm convincing you here right now to go ahead and hit the follow button. And then, is there anything else I need to remember? I mean, Dustin will pop in if I need to, but I think I got them all. I think we got them. Yes, please follow, or else Twitch will put us in live streamer prison. Not true. This is a joke. It's a joke. It's not real. Live streamer prison doesn't exist, and it can't hurt you. Reminding people is often enough. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, people. Watch through recommended so they forget to follow. Yeah, people watch through recommended so they forget to follow. Okay. Welcome from the people who are watching for recommended. I do these kinds of study streams all the time, and look at how good I am at art. You see this study right here? If you want to see more things like this, ooh, look at that. You can be a part of this 3 days a week, every week. Also, if you want to join our weekly challenges, we're going to do one of these every single week, oddly enough. And it's fun every time. I love seeing the stuff that comes out of the community, and I love getting a chance to highlight it every week. And anybody who ever wants to do one of these and pop on the stage and talk about themselves and like pump up their shit, I'm very happy about that. Huckleberry is a very pro self-promotion community. Oh, does that remind me of the other thing I should say? I need to be telling people this all the time. I secretly had it up on the screen. I've got a Kickstarter going. So what happened was I did it again. Back in 2016, I did a Kickstarter. And I kickstarted an art book. And it was my second art book, and it was the most successful art book I'd ever kickstarted. I raised a fabulous amount of money, $200,000. And then I was like, it's cool. Now that I got this $200,000, it'll be easy for me to finish the art, finish the writing, figure out the production, figure out all of it. It'll be great. And it turns out I didn't know how to do all those things, and I struggled, and I learned, and I eventually got it out the door, and I fulfilled all the orders, and I didn't even bankrupt myself in the process. And since then, back in 2016, I haven't run another one. And recently, having learned all those lessons, I am taking another bite at the apple. And so I launched a new project, Angelarium Oracle of the Fallen. It's an oracle deck that features a lot of the same illustrations from Book of Watchers, plus a few new ones that I made last year. And it's a nice little card deck collection. Really big cards. They're 3.5 by 5.5 inches. They're more than double the size of a playing card. They're really big. We're making them really premium, and all the production stuff, all the fulfillment stuff is already like laid out, and then the art and the writing is already done. It's all finished and ready to go. So I'm not going to end up in Kickstarter jail again. This is going to be smooth. It's going to be great. And what's been awesome about it is that the funding has been more than the previous campaign. It's gone up since in the last 7 years, and it's the biggest campaign I've ever run. It's already $10,000 ahead of where the fabulously funded Book of Watchers was at this time, and I'm really excited that everyone's been so eager to support it, considering I was worried no one would ever back one of my Kickstarters again after I struggled so badly with the last one. But I'm not an idiot. I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid. I will not let those kinds of failures happen again. I've got everything locked down. This thing is going to come out smooth, and I am going to fulfill on the trust that everyone is putting in me to put this thing out. Thanks, Dustin. And it's going to be good, and it's been good, and I just need to always be talking about it because because I've got 25 days to go. I got 25 days where if I don't shut up about this thing, I keep getting paid. So that's going to keep me talking about it. But that's the last you're going to hear about it on this stream. So we're going to get back to the art. What a simple structure for this one. We just got a couple shoulders poking up. They're a pretty easy shape. We got the higher and the lower one. I just need to feel like I get this peak here and this peak here, and we're basically good on the structure. It's going to be really easy from there. The eraser tool is erasing. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Typically keep those on separate layers. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So the key here is that we've got a little bit of overlap on the chin. So we need to make sure that...
Comic pledged 108 for the Kickstarter.
Who did? Oh, Comic Stench just pledged $108. Let's get those books, brother. Thank you. Yeah, so the books are the books from the previous Kickstarter, so I'm rolling them all together bit by bit. Thank you so much for the pledge on there. The books are already printed and ready to ship. As soon as the decks are ready to go, the decks should be fully finished with production and ready to ship. January 30th, 2024 is the date, And so I promised fulfillment by February 2024. And I think it should be pretty easy. Thanks so much for the pledge. Really appreciate it. I'm going to nail this one. I'm going to absolutely nail this one. And by nail it, I don't mean make a lot of money. I mean, I am going to make sure that everyone who pays me money is going to get exactly what they pledged for, exactly when they expect it to show up, barring, people who gave me the wrong address, failed to give me an address at all, the occasional delivery stolen package or like delivery mistake. We'll handle those too. Customer service is a daily event for me. I'm very, very comfortable just making sure that everybody gets what they asked for. I had a guy in my email this morning who was like, he emailed me yesterday. He got back to me today. He was like, "Excuse me, sir. You told me that I didn't give you my complete address months ago, and yet I have not seen the package." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I emailed you and said you didn't give me your complete address. You didn't tell me what your street number was. And then you never emailed me back." And he's like, "Oh, right." Like, he just thought about telling me where he lived and then never did. And I get these emails all the time where people are like, "I didn't tell you where I lived and then you never delivered the goods." And I go, "I get that. And I would like to send you your package. Please tell me where you live." It's strange to me, but it's been a reality. It's been my reality of doing customer service all the time. This is a common problem. Please, if you're buying something from me, please tell me where to ship the stuff. I would love to send you the things that you pay for. When orders come in and I get the money and then I get the stuff and I know the stuff has been delivered perfectly and that they get it and that they're happy with it, that whole loop, that's what I'm aiming for. I want all of it. I want you guys to get the things that you want to buy. I want you to get them in your hands, and I want it to be painless, and I want you to be happy with what arrives. That's the goal. And I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to do that for thousands of people in February. Yes, Delmas is saying, "I work in customer service, and that is way more common than you would think." The main problem I have in customer service is that my customer does not tell me where they live. Either they give me an incomplete address, a fully wrong address, or an address with a critical typo in it. That is the primary reason why your stuff doesn't arrive. And I am very happy to reship packages if only you will please tell me where to ship it. Like, please. Winged Orpheus. "I've ordered several things from you and gotten them all packaged well and in a timely manner." There it is. And I'm going to keep that going. I've worked really hard over the last several years to make sure that that is the way that things go. Because back in the day, I used to ship everything out of my basement by hand myself. And I got it pretty good. I was pretty good at it. But yeah, that's like it's begging for failure to happen, right? It's just begging for something to go wrong. And more recently, I have been doing it the grown-up way, which is that I work with fulfillment teams, and we have a warehouse. That warehouse is in Orlando. I work with a company called Quartermaster Logistics, who does a lot of fulfillment for Kickstarters in the gaming space. And they do board games, art books, tabletop RPGs, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure tons of dice. And they've done nothing but grow and get a larger clientele because their customer service is excellent. Working with them has been fantastic. I have an account rep that answers me within like an hour or so of me emailing him about all kinds of dumb problems that I've had over the years. And then I don't have a lot of customers coming to me saying, "Oh, I paid for a thing and never showed up and these guys fucked it up." Other than Canada. Canada's complicated. But other than Canada, it's all gone like incredibly smoothly, and it's only gotten better over the years I've been working with them, which has been awesome. And so that's why I'm so bullish about this campaign, because I know that working with Quartermaster, they have set up some satellite distribution centers in Asia, in Australia, in the UK, and in Germany. And that allows them to give be able to ship. Once they get inventory out to those satellite locations, they're able to ship them without having to worry so much about tariffs and shipping costs and stuff. And so since we're doing this like as pre-orders in bulk, we're able to figure out how many pieces of inventory need to go to what parts of the world in order to distribute them in like a really good, easy to follow along with way. And so it's going to be a really, really smooth process to get this all going. And I'm even able, because they're all pre-orders, I'm able to, and I'm using this network, we're going to be able to offer delivery to more locations than I even do off of my store, which is great.
MHR Mike was asking if the book is signed.
So the books are not signed because they are coming out of a warehouse that I don't have access to. But I am signing a certain number of the card decks. This is an offer that's only available for U.S. customers because I'm going to be getting those decks delivered to my house, and I'm going to be signing them and shipping them personally. And it's not something that's very scalable for me to do, so I'm just offering it for a select few lucky people. Those sold out immediately, but I'm going to be offering another round of 100 soon. I was thinking maybe every week I would announce another round of signed decks. And people were requesting that I have signed bundles with like the books signed as well. So I think the next one is going to be 100 of the $108 tier, U.S. customers only, and I'll be signing those out and shipping them directly to you if you're one of the lucky people that gets it. You can change your tier after the fact if you wanted to nab something now and then wait for the announcement and then switch it. It's totally viable. All right. I am like picking around the edges of this thing a little bit. I need to dive a little deeper on it. So let's do a bit of a glaze to establish the ground here. Just build up the ground on the figure a little bit, and then I'm going to soft brush this a little to get those, because it's a lot of really big soft transitions. It's a lot of white, a lot of light colors. I wonder if I should do something with this in terms of weird color treatments. Probably make this big segment, instead of all black, do like all bright red. Might be cool. Oh, you got Winged Orpheus got one of the ones first round, got the autograph deck. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to get those shipped to me, and I'm going to ship those straight out. And doing like a couple hundred, I can handle that over the course of a weekend. No problem. I've done so much shipping personally over the years. That doesn't scare me one bit. But when we were doing the Book of Watchers campaign, it was me and a couple of recent Ringling graduates holed up in a like makeshift warehouse space that I'd made out of a rented garage during the summertime down here in Florida with no air conditioning. The air conditioner broke. And it was like 95-degree heat, and we were packing 12,000 pounds of books, all one at a time, you know, assembling all the boxes. I was hand signing every single one. And then I was also like, you know, packing them all up into their boxes, and like you would assemble the box, you'd pack the thing, you would just we were trying to assembly line them, banging out hundreds of them a day, and then taking huge bagfuls of these heavy packages out to the post office, and then having to like drop them off at the post office with tracking slips and stuff. And we got well known at the post office almost instantly because we were bringing hundreds of pounds of packages every single day, dragged in by hand, mostly by a pair of young art school graduates. And people very quickly, they're like, "What are you guys doing here? What is going on?" And we're like, "Oh, it's a Kickstarter. It's Pete here. He's a famous artist." And they're like, "This guy?" I'm like, yeah. And they're like, "So is that it?" After every day, they're like, "Whoa, so you got them all?" And we're like, "No, we've got hundreds more. We got thousands of pounds more back at the warehouse. We gotta bring out." And that was a tough process, but we did it. Thanks, Nancy. Thanks, Em. You guys were incredible. I tried to do my best to make sure that nobody got like injured or fainted or anything. Everybody got breaks and water and food, and like compensated them for their time, and like turned the whole thing into the best possible experience. They got to stay in a really nice house all by themselves. well, during the time while they were staying down here, and then we had a little bit of a party before they left, and the whole thing went off more or less without a hitch. Only problem was that it was 5 years late. A mistake I am never going to make again. Man, I am so stoked. I don't know if you can tell from me talking about it. I am incredibly stoked to get a do-over on all that. It's a really similar collection of work, and so to me it feels like a cosmic do-over, the sort of thing that everyone fantasizes about and very few people ever actually get, where you get to look at one of your regrets in life and just fully like redo it, but this time like having learned from your mistakes, do it right. So that's what this campaign represents to me, is this like chance to succeed where I had failed in the past. And I was not realizing it was going to be that. When I first made the campaign, I didn't realize that it was going to potentially be my most funded campaign of all time. But that's where we are with it right now, and I'm really kind of, it surprises me. I don't know why it surprises me, but it does, and it's a great portent for the future because I've got more of these planned. I've got the tarot deck coming. I've got the minis, the line of minis coming. I've got like the RPG book coming, which is going to be included with other goodies. I'm looking at like DM screens and dice to go along with that, as well, in addition to things like the minis for it. So there's all these big ideas I have planned on the horizon. And I was a little bit freaked out because I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do these the way that I used to, because back in 2016 I was on top of the world, and now I've gotten a little nervous about it. But should I share Em and Nancy's Insta? Sure, yeah, we could highlight Em and Nancy. They're both excellent. I still keep in touch with Em. We just hung out at a concert recently. If you're Danny Pico, you'll get timed out for the next 60 seconds. Uh-oh, I think maybe we had the no link rule going right there. I was hesitating to make a sketchbook and post it since it was mostly practice. I was doing it when I couldn't do it properly because of rehab. So it was mostly just one brush and never changing my settings, mostly color studies and some gestures and practice. Everyone's always got an excuse about why they don't like launch a Kickstarter campaign. I tell everyone to just go ahead and launch it because, if it doesn't work out, who cares? It's like, it's no harm, no foul. If you don't get funded, then no one gets charged money, and you have no commitment to do anything. So if you have all of the logistics for your campaign worked out and you want to give it a shot, I recommend that everybody who is interested in making a Kickstarter, go ahead and give it a shot. There's a lot of really good advantages to using that platform. It's something that's treated me really well over the years, and I would love for there to be more artists succeeding on it all the time. It seems like an easy way for people to, for artists who are like wanting to do something for themselves, to like get ahead and like succeed on their own terms, which is a kind of passion of mine to see artists succeed like that. Let's see, I've got this. There's some issues with this thing structurally, and I kind of want to just nudge it here and there later in the process. But I wonder if I should do the nudging now, or if I should do the nudging later. I can do a little nudging now and a little nudging later. How about that? I was bragging about how the structure on this was easy, but anything symmetrical always throws me off. The individual pieces are fine, but the pre-supported one has all of the pieces in the same file in a fixed layout orientation. Just got to figure out how to make the pieces into separate files. That doesn't sound too hard. Digital files are all flexible, right? The proportions on these are pretty similar, but I'm like running into the right edge of the screen in a way that I'm not sure exactly why it's happening. Because I feel like the angle across the side of the face here is like pretty close. It might be a little... I don't think the head is wider. I'm sure there's somebody who's screaming in chat, knows that what's wrong with this thing and is like wanting to fix it, wanting to reach through the screen and fix it. I'll find it. I'll figure it out. The proportion of how it fits into the screen is really not that important. The ultimate important thing is going to be the structure. There's just like, I thought this was going to be easy because it's like, oh, big shape, medium shape, done. You know, just very little in terms of features I need to like orient on. And yet that lack of structure makes it easy for me to get lost. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to start tightening this up a little bit. And then we are going to see if things start to fall apart. I'm going to darken that, but I want to keep some of the gradient in there already. So I'm going to go with a darker color glazed in lighter. There we go. I'm going to try to exaggerate this lighting a little bit. The temptation is to want to like take these shadows that are being kind of cast across the edge of the forehead and really accentuate them because they stand out to me with being high contrast. But I'm not certain that they're that important. I'm worried that they're just going to end up calling out like to a disproportionate degree. It's a lot of close values, pretty hard. Yeah, so separating out the values a little bit I think is going to be critical. I'm kind of lightening it, darkening it, lightening it, darkening it, trying to figure out where I want to start from to get it all kind of worked out. So, yeah, I'm going to like zoom in a little bit and I'm going to chop it up a little finer and make sure that I have things more or less where I want them. Then I am going to hack in the background and start to see if I need to pick away at some final things before I take it to color. Yeah, it's not having a lot of things going on is like true for basically everyone. It's true for more people than some. You know, I just have a friend launching a Kickstarter and she's just like not in a position ever. She's just got a very challenging life situation. And there's never, ever a good time to do something like launching a Kickstarter. So, like, I do think about this all the time. Everyone's got a different kind of situation going on. I like the way she's got that, was it the predator eyes where like there's like this incline from the tear duct to the back corner of the eye. I think that maybe accentuating that rather than trying to keep it realistic might actually add some interest to this piece. Just need to make sure to make it a little bit more symmetrical because that's been a consistent problem. Problem for me, that is. Rodolph88, welcome. What's the source of the image on the left? Is somewhere on Pinterest. It's one of those things where I'm sure it's probably possible to find the original photographer by doing a reverse image search, but you know, I haven't really invested in that for any of these. If you want to copy it for yourself, you can check it out over on the Discord. There's a channel called Today is the Day, and that is where I post all of the references every single day for Huckleberry. And, well, I would say most days. Some days I sort of flake, but we have a really nice collection of reference images there, and a lot of the community members have all used them for study, and so you get to see like how your studies differ from the other people that are doing it. There's something about studies where it always feels like that's got to be the way it was going to turn out, but then you get to see the way it turns out for other people, and you start to wonder, like, is that the way it needs to turn out? Oh, wife has appeared. What's up,
Hi.
wife?
Just wondering how you're doing.
Oh, okay. Just popping in.
Well, I can come and join if you want me to.
Oh, sure. I just usually when you're popping in, you're like, shh, meet the mic, like,
yeah.
telling me something, asking me for something.
No, I'm gonna ask you all those things when you're done.
Okay.
This time around.
Just coming to sip.
That looks like a
sip
challenging.
coffee. You know, I was convinced it was easy when I first pulled it up.
Yeah, this looks hard. I'll bring a chair and something to draw with.
Okay, thank you. I don't really know the image origins. Like on Pinterest, there's usually some accreditation, but I'm just downloading these as like, you know, raw material, and not really as like with a lot of investigation as to like where they're coming from. Even inside the shadow, I'm looking for like the more subtle variations in here. So it's got that kind of like big eyes anime thing where like the shadow kind of connects between the eye sockets like this, which is always a very artsy look. And then the only thing that's coming close to a highlight is the bridge of the nose. The reference reminds me of an artist named La Aura on Instagram. If someone likes reference check, La Aura. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I don't mean to be dismissive of the source material. I just, it's not been the priority for what I'm doing. But yeah, if anybody in chat ever wants to shout out what the source material for this stuff is, please feel free to link. Yeah, I'm like not mocking in the mouth. I hadn't sketched in the mouth, and it's making the whole thing seem a little weird, even though the mouth is kind of only subtly peeking through the makeup here. I feel like I've got her looking off to the side a little bit. Again, looking straight into the camera is like, I feel like even a little bit more challenging. I'm not sure what subtleties I need to capture at this stage in order to keep myself from getting lost at the next stage.
Did you hear me dropping a whole pencil case and having pencils spill all over the floor?
No? Why? Is that what you did?
That's what happened.
Nice. Okay. Should I really take this into color when it's in this stage? This looks bad.
I think it needs more work.
Yeah, well, I know it needs more work. It's not done.
No, before you move it to color.
All right. We need to get this whole face paint thing wider. There's been a few of these that I'm convinced are like easy, and then it turns out that they are super tough. Man, whole day struggling with the art piece, trying again tomorrow. Don't worry, Junk or Naughty. You'll get it together one of these times. It's like you just have to like keep showing up. And one of those, and then some days you got it and some days you don't. And you're always making progress just by showing up.
sometimes when I get stuck, it's nice to switch it up to a different piece.
Yeah. Speaking of being stuck and needing to switch it up, I got to get back to the chariot piece soon. I got 8 days left, and I'm splitting my time with the Kickstarter and everything. I got to get over onto. I got to get that thing rolling, otherwise I'm going to get into trouble with it. I'm always trying to finish a new piece for Patreon by the end of the month. Some months it is a bit of a challenge because I'm distracting myself, being split in different directions. Now that I'm streaming so often, you guys get a little insight into the ways in which I'm splitting my time. Hearing me ramble and also watching me, specifically not working on the things that I mean to finish every month. Okay, yeah, filling in the light on the hair, definitely a big improvement on overall pushing this thing together.
Did you just start on this one? Or was it?
I'm about 30 minutes in, oddly enough. This is like a real lack of progress for 30 minutes, I feel like, but not too. That's what I'm saying. Like, the timer's going off in my head. Like, you should be in color by now.
Yeah, I missed most of the stream, so I wasn't sure how long you've been streaming. Did I miss all the community stuff?
Oh yeah, it's long over. We got another batch. We got another batch of really great entries this week, as always.
I'll have to look at them afterwards. How do you choose your reference? Like, what makes you look at the piece and think like this is the one?
I don't know. I mean, I put together a folder that was like, hey, these pieces are all good, and they kind of represent the things that I want to get good at. Like they all seem like striking images in the way I want my images to be striking. And then once I have them in the folder, I try to just treat them all as like they're just taking turns, that they're just in line. Instead of like picking and choosing the ones I think are going to be best, I try to pick just based off of what's most recent, like what's closest to the like used folder. And then that way I'm not like picking around something and leaving it for like dead last, that I'm like gonna get to everything, that I'm gonna be picking the ones that aren't like my favorites.
I do want to see all the Ghibli pieces.
Yeah, well, you can go check them out on the Discord. Every time I say Discord, I hit this button. I love having the Stream Deck. That way I can do that kind of thing.
Yeah, this one looks hard.
Are you going to try to do the same one?
Well,
Here in the darkness?
Yes, here in the darkness on the toned paper. It's gonna come out wonderful.
I was watching a fitness video today, because I've been doing that, and the guy's like, the trick to good sleep is to make sure to always get lots of sunlight during the day. And I was thinking about the bunker, and I was like, I wonder if that's why I haven't been sleeping so good.
We haven't really been out much either. Well, you've been swimming a little bit sometimes.
I was swimming a little bit last week, but like this week, not so much. Kim, with the huge message, I wanted to ask, do you think there's a more academic way and a more intuitive way to paint? I'm just wondering because often I'll hear people talk about their deliberate decisions they're making while painting, whereas I tend to go with my gut rather than thinking. And if you ask me about why I made that choice, I couldn't do more than just shrug and tell you it felt right. I just thought it'd be interesting to discuss because new artists might benefit. Kim, can you just come on the mic and we can just talk? Huberman? No, I'm not watching Huberman. I've got a beef with anybody who like the Huberman like popular people who are like I'm gonna blow your mind with facts guys, like all the intellectual dark web guys, basically everybody who's a popular guest on Joe Rogan, all of them. I'm kind of anti that culture, and so I don't really follow Huberman. But I think like I'm getting secondhand Huberman. I'm making food, mate. You're always cooking when you're on stream.
If you're not going to answer Kim's question, I would want to say that I also always go by intuition, and I don't really think about the academic bits of why I paint a certain way.
Yeah, I think it's like a left and right brain sort of thing. Because I know that like there's a lot that happens in terms of decision making that we don't make a narrative decision, meaning that like we definitely choose to do it, but it's like a part of us that doesn't say, and now I am adding blue because blue is the accent color to the color that's already there. But like there's a part of your brain that knows it's an accent color and knows to add blue and like whispers quietly in your brain for you to do it, and your hand does it, but you never get the narrative. You never like get the verbal cue, the internal monologue that tells you to do it. And then when somebody asks you like, why'd you do that? You shrug your shoulders and you're like, I don't know, I just thought blue looked good.
Hi from someone.
Jordan Shoot, hello, welcome, first time chatter. Yeah, and it's like the Twitch staff in the house. Oh, okay, that's what the wrench is all there for. Hey, Jordan. This must be the Jordan in my email also. Just hanging out. And so I think about like, I think that like I think in every case people know something. I think the knowledge is there. It's just a matter of whether or not we have like access to the knowledge. And a big part of what I've learned about art over the years is that there is a part of doing art that is like learning to access the knowledge that you have, but you don't have verbally. You don't have verbal access to, but you have this kind of intuitive left brain access to. I think it's left brain. I always get this wrong. I try to confidently say right brain last night in a conversation, and the person's like, that's the wrong half the brain. And so now I'm saying left brain, and I'm sure there's somebody out there with the secret knowledge who's like, oh, yeah, actually, it is the right brain. You were right the first time, and that guy was an idiot. So, this whole like intuitive versus academic approach, it's all brain. Like it's all in there. It's just a matter of like, I think whether or not we have access to knowing where that knowledge is stored. And yeah, like what do we do with that? If that's true, like what do we do with it? We say like, well, some people are more right brain, some are more left brain artists, I guess. Yeah, Lambo time. So yeah, it's like the people who know this stuff like super academically, I honestly think that like being able to recite the reasons why you're making choices as you're making them is like a unique skill apart from actually knowing how to make good choices artistically. I think it's like there's a storytelling skill like that is useful for teaching and possibly useful for things like streaming, where you can tell other people like, I am doing this for this reason out loud. And like that's useful to others, but I'm not sure that it's useful personally. So I don't think that people who are able to dictate the reasons why they are making the choices that they're making, I don't think that they have access to deeper or like more valuable knowledge than somebody who is working in a way that feels more intuitive to them. That's my theory. And I'm a little bit anti over academicizing art. So of course that's the side of the theory I'm going to come down on, but hey, you got what you pay for. So I think that's my theory on the theory. I don't know. I think like, yeah, I really think that's it. I really think it's just like an isolated skill. There's a skill to being able to say what is happening, the choice you're making at the time. But I also think that there's probably a cost to that. Like I think that if you are exclusively, if you are reciting the reasons why you're doing stuff as you're doing it, you are potentially depriving yourself of access to a part of your brain that can do really cool stuff. And so I wouldn't trust that like just because someone's able to do that, they're making smarter choices. They might actually got it. You have to keep the woo. The woo is not just woo. It's not like, oh, I can draw better because I have an anti-ionizing crystal on my desk. Like that's true woo. Like art woo is different because we know that there is stuff happening in the brain. Like we know about different hemispheres sort of having different verbal capacities. This is pure scientific stuff, but it's experienced in this like textural, emotional way that makes it nearly impossible for us to like differentiate it from woo. And so like that's the part that I think always it trips me up a little bit, because if you want to speak to the experience honestly, you have to speak to the woo. You have to be like, oh, well, this is what the art wants. You know, I say something like that and super analytical people go like, excuse me, what are you talking about? The art doesn't say anything. It's literally just a file on your computer. It's ones and zeros. It doesn't want anything. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It doesn't. It's not like the computer file or the pencil drawing is literally speaking to me through the universe. But it feels that way. And if I'm trying to overanalyze and intellectualize the whole exercise, I'm making the whole process of accessing that part of me harder. So I get a lot of value out of speaking about it in more woo-like ways, because that's the authentic way that I am dealing with it. And that's the authentic way in which most people experience these sorts of things. And so it's the more useful way of discussing these things in a lot of cases. Art woo sounds like a martial art. Maybe. So like I like using very woo terms when it comes to art, because I think that they are ultimately very useful ways of looking at the problem that we're dealing with.
I don't like the word woo.
You don't like the word woo? What do you like instead?
I'm thinking about it.
Do you want to talk about spirituality?
No.
No.
But like, when I was younger, whenever I was drawing, I did have this thing where I would think there is a picture hidden in a page. And
Yeah.
then I'm bringing it out rather than consciously drawing something.
Right. Our brains naturally attract to these narratives. Like we all construct them in our own different ways. And many of us construct the same kinds of narratives about, oh, there was a muse that was like speaking to me, or like, oh, the piece of paper always had the art hidden inside of it and just chipped away all the stuff that wasn't the real drawing. And you know, there's all these different narratives that we've gotten, and we've heard them over the years from all the master artists that have come before. Like, this is not new territory.
Woo sounds a bit in the goop. Yes.
Yeah, in the goop direction. Yeah, along the goop
I
axes.
don't like goop either. I think it's such a weird name.
Could you define art woo more? It's like, woo is like a sort of, you know, pop spiritualism. A kind of like, it's sort of like a broad definition of like spiritualized talk. Elizabeth Gilbert's TED Talk about genius. Yeah, it's fine. I look back on TED Talks like that, and I think maybe we got TED Talked a little too much back in the day. Goop's the Gwyneth Paltrow thing. That's the jade eggs and whatnot. Yeah, and like it. So, but it's like I don't really get into these ideas of like holistic health or really super holistic, like, you know, reconnecting with the self or whatever. It's like, but I do know that these experiences I'm having are real and that they're very common among creative people. So it's like useful to like look at them on their own terms. Like, what else are you going to do? I'm gonna have to layer, I think, another. This color palette I'm laying out for myself, I think it's actually making things harder instead of easier. I thought it'd be nice to lay in a little like contrasting background color that would like bring out a little contrast with the skin tone, and instead I'm just ending up like feeling like the skin tone's not coming together, and that something's happening with that forehead. I tried to like. I was like, oh, it's getting way too orange. So I tried to scrape it out, and then it's coming out like weird and gray. I think that what might be happening is it wasn't light enough. And so it's like blending with the color in an odd way. Maybe not. How did I get this shoulder color? What's going on here?
This is such such a weird reference feed.
I know, it's a really weird reference.
Yeah.
And so this is definitely lighter. This definitely has less of the hard light on it. There we go. A little bit closer. I think that's what I was looking for-ish. Shit. Not quite. Give it a little bit of blue all over to give it like this. I'm trying to get some dynamic, interesting color mixing stuff going on, but my process is so dependent on value, and the value is so compressed. It's one more reason why it's not quite coming together. It is such a weird thing, and it's like it's hard to differentiate everything that's happening in it. I just know it's striking when I see it.
Hey, mine looks creepy already.
Yours look creepy? Yeah. We're going to get to see Anya's on the Discord later.
I'll post it later.
If you want to be really good at art, you got to hold a jade egg in your hoo-ha. That's Kim, yeah.
Yes.
That's a Kim
Yes.
comment, 100%. We were talking about going to the UK next summer. The whole family. I've got a number of like Angelarium adjacent pals. It's kind of scattered around the UK. So like a UK visit sort of begs to like maybe do a little bit of like seeing who wants to end up in the same pub at the same time, you know? And that does sound dangerous. The Huckleberry, official Huckleberry recommendation is you do not stick a jade egg in your hoo-ha under any conditions, for any reason.
Or anywhere else for the matter.
I'm not a medical doctor. And for that reason, I don't want to tell you that I know whether or not you should stick a jade egg in your hoo-ha. But I will tell you, I think it's a bad plan. Oh, I will. You think you're not as funny in person? We'll find out. We'll find out.
I think I'm not funny at all. Not in person and not online.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh my god, this is horrible.
Yeah, you can just hang out in the corner and scowl in British. It's fine. Yeah, you want to hang out in the pub and just, you know, do the British thing where you sip on a beer and just scowl at other people instead of... Is that a British thing? I don't know why I imagine that's a British thing. Clenching is healthy. As I said, not a medical doctor. Just don't take what I say as medical fact, and certainly not as a medical recommendation. However, neither is Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah. Yeah, I had a really, really easy reference yesterday just because it was like exactly the kind of lighting that's kind of easy to make painterly.
I should have joined
And it was all like monochrome. It was all red. And so it was just red. And so there was no like weird color balance bullshit. And I had the easiest time. And it came out great. And I was like, maybe some days I am great at art, you know? And maybe this is my best study ever. Maybe I'm actually good at painting. And so I came into this one as one that I was like just really wanting to skip over and wondering why the hell I ever put it inside the reference folder.
This one?
Yeah. And
Yeah, why did you?
Yeah, and then now I'm like working with it and going like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Bro, honestly, like trying to do this in a dark room is kind of going hard mode.
Yeah, it's total. You're screwing yourself over in a way that does make.
What else can I do? Just like sit and look at you here.
You can do it in the other room and hang out with me on Discord,
I
and then you get sunlight on your page instead of like a single dim light bulb.
Wow, I've committed at this point.
But yeah, we might do a Huckleberry UK hangout if it comes together. If we go to the UK. And we're going to be there. I will arrange for a Huckleberry / Angelarium UK hangout. and you guys can come and buy me a pint. Teach me a bunch. I love regional slang. You can teach me all the regional slang, all the dirty words. It'll be a good time.
I think she's wearing a mask. I don't think this is a face.
You don't think that this is paint? This is paint.
I think it's a mask because of how, like, her nose is, like, not defined at all.
Oh, thank you for this. Thank you for the 2 times tier 1 sub. Mandala says I'm Groot. This is 100% paint. That nose is there. It's just it's a low res file. It looks like it was up-resed, and then I downloaded it, and then it got up-resed again. It is so JPEG compressed.
Mm.
The JPEG compression really adds to the difficulty. I feel like it's one painting kind of cut inside of another because there's like no real transition between the paint line and the skin underneath. And there's like no value range in either one. Like if you were a really graphic artist and you were doing a lot of like precise zones of color, you could probably stylize this in a way that's going to make it look really cool. But me trying to reproduce it sort of on its own terms, I am like experiencing nothing but pain here. Well, no, I'm having fun actually. But I'm also think I'm doing bad art in public again.
I think you need to get over that, but that's the thing.
No, I'm over it. I don't care.
That's the thing that I have a hard time getting over.
Told you I don't care.
Well, I care. That's why I have a hard time drawing in public.
Yeah.
I like to make my mistakes in public where nobody can see me, so I can go cry in a corner.
Kim
by
says you
myself.
got to make it semi-central, Pete. I live in the end corner of Wales, which is where the which is a country whose big roads only start halfway across the country. Okay.
But are there sheep? Because if there's sheep, I want to go to there.
Yeah, if there's a lot of sheep around, Anya might actually want to come visit. Hey, Peacot's coming in with the big crowd. Welcome, Peacot and all of her amazing crew. Welcome, Peacot people. It's great to see you. I love getting a Peacot raid. She always comes in with such a big crowd. Welcome, everyone. I'm in the middle of a study where I'm doing a bad job in public. We were doing a charity stream. I know. I was like gonna bug you and see if you were free to do that chit chat today, and then I saw you were doing a charity stream, so I didn't want to bug you. I would love to. I got to do a charity stream one of these days. I got to figure that out. I have charity ideas this year for Huckleberry. I want to like get some more art supplies in people's hands and see who needs some money to be able to like make art. I love giving. I know that there's like a lot of artists who are in need in order to be able to like make what they're doing and take a real shot at art. And I would love to figure out something with Huckleberry where we give people a little bit of assistance. And I think around Christmas time is probably a good time to do that. So I've been thinking a lot about, hey, how do I keep notes so that we make sure that the planning happens in time to be able to pull something like that together in a reasonable way. Thankfully, Anya's maybe going to help me. Oh, this is coming out really good, Anya. Shit. And then also, Dustin is around, and he has been a tremendous help for organizing these things, too. So maybe I could just be the ideas guy. I love being the ideas guy. Being the ideas guy is the best. You just get to, like, sort of, float around the room telling people what your grand vision is, and then you let them figure out how to do it.
I have not sketched with a pencil in a long time. I don't know why.
Yeah, me either. Like, ever since, like, our vacation, I was trying to draw a lot while we were in New York, and I haven't been back to it since. It's, maybe I'm saving myself a little bit for Drawtober. We're coming up on that in, like, a week, and I made big claims about how I was actually going to follow through and do Drawtober, and now I'm going to have to follow through on that big talk.
I'm honestly feeling intimidated about Drawtober now.
So, Peacot, if you're still around, how much money did you make for people? Who are you giving money to, and how much money did you make, and can I drop a link? We made $1,000. That's
Yay.
not nothing. That's great money. I'm going to be continuing the charity stream tomorrow. Excellent. Any links that we can share in the chat for anybody who's from my side of the stream here that wants to maybe join in on the charity for your charity stream? What's the charity for? You'll not. American Heart Association. Easy. It's a great thing to give money for.
Here's a link too.
There's a link. Tiltify. I've never heard of Tiltify before. Mystery Madness 2023. All right. Thanks so much. I'm gonna drop a dono in here as soon as I finish with my study. And yeah, that's cool that you're doing a charity stream. It's giving me motivation to follow through on my idea to do something similar. Man, what am I doing here? What's going on with this with this artwork?
It really is a weird piece.
Yeah, but yours is like coming out cool.
But it doesn't look like the reference.
It doesn't need to. It looks better. If someone donates $20 or more, I'll add them to the wall of charity. Okay, well that's easy. I was going to donate more than that. Oh, I see. You got a little doodle. Maybe we can get a little Angelarium guy in there with my name next to it.
A little Azrael.
A little Azrael, maybe. Yeah. As for the American Heart Association, they sent me a bunch of mystery boxes, and one of them glitter bombed me. Oh, God.
No.
Why would they do that to you?
That sounds like a punishment more than anything else.
I saw on your stream there was like mystery boxes. I couldn't figure out like why would there be mystery boxes? Like who are they a mystery for? Because it's like if you had made them, they're definitely not a mystery box, right? So it makes more sense that somebody else made them for you to open. But I hadn't realized that they did that sort of thing. It's very interesting. The values here are vexing me. I had this thing, not yesterday, the day before yesterday while I was streaming, towards the end, where I realized I just needed to relax my brain a little bit. And that like there was some sort of there's like this sort of impressionistic part of my brain that I can activate if I can just chill a little bit instead of overthinking everything. And that like I started to be able to get in the zone, but I kept doing that late in the process, and I'm doing it again. I'm a half hour away from my timer running down, and I'm only now just going like, it's okay, just breathe. Let the art just happen. Thanks. Have a good one. I'm sure you've been on for hours and hours. Don't feel obligation to stick around. I'll see you around. Thanks so much for the raid. Yeah, Peacat's always doing those really long streams. I don't know where she finds the time. Having a job, doing the stream. Maybe it's the no family thing. Maybe no kids. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I don't know her that well, so maybe she does, and maybe I'm just lacking here.
I take care of the kids mostly.
Yeah, you take care of the kids mostly, but still, there's like, I don't know. It's different when you like have a whole family, live with people and stuff, than like if you live on your own. I don't know if she lives on her own though. I'm making assumptions. I shouldn't make
You are
assumptions.
making assumptions. Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
Can you zoom out on this a little bit? Thank you.
She's got a ribbon coming over here on the left side also. That I'm
But
like,
I was doing the one on the right side right now, and you cut off the top of it. You're like, no.
if it's any consolation, I think you did bring the haunted Victorian child quality to the guy in the last few studies ago. She doesn't, and she draws all the time.
Okay.
So might as well stream. Okay. I mean, yeah, I actually draw more now that I'm streaming. I draw more now that I started doing studies regularly. Back before I started doing studies, like, drawing is one of the things that I have to do as part of my main job as an artist. I also I run the kind of sales business side of things as well, where I'm like making new products and like working, trying to make sure the fulfillment's working and all that kind of stuff. And I'm always kind of buried in this like mixture of like admin work and making stuff, making new products, and like also making the artwork for the products. And there's always just like something going on, something that's distracting me away from art. And I've felt like it's maybe always been a bit too much of that and not enough art. And so doing these studies has really brought me back to the point where I'm doing art almost every single day. And it's been fantastic. It's really like the fastest way to like grow as an artist is to be spending time every single day just kind of grinding away at it, like working at it, like in a way that also you get excited to keep coming back for the grind, and you get excited to keep trying to like push it as far as it'll go. For me, it's like I keep looking looking more closely at my work and going like, I need to do better. Like, if like all you do is stay at home and work, like, yeah, you can clock a lot of time if you don't really have a life. It's not like I have like a really like a social life or anything.
Do we have more social life than we used to?
We have a little more social life than we used to, yeah. Finally getting better at it. Yeah, one of the things I've been thinking about is like now that I've kind of figured out how to be making way more paintings, I've been thinking about next time I'm going to dig in, next time I have like one job, which is like next time I'm only working on tarot or only working on the RPG, something like that, I'm going to see if maybe I just work on it every day and I try to get a solid 4 hours to 6 hours of painting every single day on those pieces and just see how much I can like produce over a short period of time. So like with the tarot, see like how instead of trying to get a card done every month, see if I can get like a card or two every week, especially with the minor arcana. I think that might be possible. And then with the RPG, I've got a mixture of grander pieces and some smaller, more functional ones, like character portraits and stuff. And I want to see if I can actually bust through a huge chunk of that book all on my own. And maybe I'll stream it on Twitch. Maybe streaming it on Twitch will be one of the ways that I like raise awareness of the fact that it's like down the road, that I'm going to be working on it and it's going to be coming out on Kickstarter sometime in like 2024, 2025, something like that.
You think next year or the year after?
It's like the writing is supposed to be largely done later this year, and that I'm supposed to be working on it full time next year. I just don't know if it's like is it a 9-month project? Is it a year-long project? Where does that leave us in terms of the launch of the Kickstarter date?
Next year is sooner than you think.
Next year is not sooner than I think. I think about it all the time. I know exactly how long it is till next year, and it's like not long.
Yeah, does it stress you out? Because it stresses me out.
No, I'm stoked. Like I've been so productive that I've been so productive over the last few months that like it's made me excited for things coming up in the future. Like, I was getting a little nervous about the Kickstarter launch, and now we have like the biggest Kickstarter we've ever had on our hands, and like an easy path towards like production and fulfillment, which is like, oh my God, what kind of upside down world do we live in where Kickstarters are easy?
I always feel like I don't have enough time, so when I'm thinking next year,
yeah, the big thing is
that this one is almost
I
over.
need to get some stuff done for Huckleberry between now and then.
You do.
before the RPG bubbles up and becomes my primary job, I need to make sure that Huckleberry is like full up and running, that we have like on-demand courses, that we have like classes running, that we got the whole dang thing coming together nice and smooth. And then, if I need to cut back on my, then like I can be streaming maybe fewer studies and more working on pieces for the RPG, something like that.
That'd be interesting.
It would be interesting, wouldn't it? Give people a little insight into what's going to be in the book through working on the art live on air every single day. And just jamming on pieces. Just because I've gotten 70-something pieces done in the last 3 months, study-wise. It's a lot of paintings. Yeah, I've done, I'm on, this is number like 76,
Wow.
75. This is number 75.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Like, it's a lot. So I feel like if I can get 75 studies done in this level of time, like what happens if I turn it into like me doing basically commission work for myself for my own project? Like, how far can I get with it? It's these kind of like soft, smooth transitions, especially when they have like minor color variation in them that ends up.
Dustin's saying how we should have Carl playtest it when it's done.
Oh, yeah. I want to get some playtesting done on Discord too. When did you start streaming, by the way? I started streaming at the beginning of August. August 1st. So it's been a month and 3 weeks. So just shy of 2 months I've been streaming. And I was streaming 5 days a week. Now I'm streaming 3 days a week. I might bump it back up to 5 if circumstances are slightly different. But my schedule is sort of like wobbling this way and that, and I'm trying to figure some stuff out, and I don't want to be overloaded with study work, live study work. So I'm trying to take it, I'm experimenting with orienting my schedule in different ways, sort of with an eye to the future of what it's all going to turn into. Yeah, I mean, having a regular streaming schedule makes keeping the motivation going really easy. Go eat food, Kim. Thanks for joining the stream as always. How are you going to do group mentoring and have a stream after? Sheesh. Yeah, I know. Well, I've been doing the group mentoring thing on Thursday mornings, and then I'm not streaming on Thursdays. And the two, that correlation is not accidental. So I might end up doing like both of my, like I'm thinking about expanding the class to be 10 people over 2 sessions rather than 5 people in 1 session. And that might mean I'm going to be, that might be all on a Thursday, and then I don't ever stream on that day, so that I don't ever need to balance like the work of classes with the work of streaming, because they're both sort of emotionally exhausting, mentally exhausting to do. To be on, to be present, to be talking, instead of just kind of tuning out.
Yeah, the talking and drawing thing is tough.
It's tough.
I feel like it's a skill that's not like.
It's easier with the
Isn't that
study.
intuitive, I think?
It's easier with the studies, but I'm really noticing a big difference in like my ability to do the studies when I'm off air versus when I'm on air.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like I've got the Goku gravity chamber for studies in here, where it's like I'm trying to figure out how to do it while I'm also like mega distracted. And maybe that makes it so that this study less is sinking in from the studies, but maybe it's just making me, because like I feel like when I come out of doing the studies live, and I go, okay, well, I'm just going to do one over the weekend because I really like these and I want to spend a little more time with it. I like my weekend studies have been more powerful. And so I think like I actually might be giving myself sort of, gravity training here on Twitch. So when I get to Namek, I'll be really, really good at art, and I'm going to blast a hole right through those alien bastards.
I don't know enough about Dragon Ball. I don't know what you're talking about.
It would be anticlimactic if Goku was there the whole time. So they stick him on a spaceship for like half the season, and he's just doing push-ups on a spaceship for like an entire season. And they somehow made it like iconic. I don't know.
Have you watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z back in the day?
Back in when I was a kid, it was the only anime that I had access to. And so I had to watch it because it was like, I was like, oh my God, this is, whatever this is, this Japanese cartoon thing is like the coolest shit I've ever seen in my whole life. So I had to wake up at 6 a.m. to watch it because that's like when it was on. It was on like 6 a.m. at Channel 9.
Someone said coffee is the senzu bean.
Coffee is the senzu
What
bean.
is the senzu bean?
It's like a magical bean that when you eat it, instantly recovers you from any injury.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So, you know, you train super hard under like the gravity training until like you're almost fully dead, and then you eat like one senzu bean and you come back to life. So with 75 studies under your belt, what do you think the main way you've grown since starting, if any? I mean, I don't think there's any question that I have grown. I can show you before and after. I feel like I have gotten to experiment a lot with my process. And like, I feel more confident in the way I put together an image. I feel more confident in my value control. I feel better about my like understanding of anatomy and like reading anatomy from reference. Here, let me show you like a little bit before and after here. Because a big part of this was like, I was going to keep a record of everything. So like, here's study number 1. Oh, thank you, Windows. Thank you. Study number 1. You know, here's another early study.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
You've seen it.
Not that one. I've seen the first one, but not the guy, the said guy.
And then here's like a before and after of like same photo set, but like 60 iterations apart. And like the value control, the anatomy,
the likeness.
The
which
likeness.
You cannot tell right now because you don't have the
yeah,
photo brought up, but
they're all like way better after 60 of them. And I did this one faster. And like, it's giving me insight. It's giving me an experimental platform to try out new tools and to like learn new work methods. And so I've been, you know, the difference between this, which was from yesterday, and like, I'm going to try to find something that's kind of similar from early on. You know, like this, which is like just so much rougher and chunkier and more kind of accidental. Everything about it is a little bit like less intentional. It's not just that it hasn't been smoothed out. It's like, I like a certain amount of looseness and chunkiness. And you can see there is a lot of looseness happening here, like in the hair. But like you see this and it's like, it doesn't feel like it's loose, expressive strokes. It feels scratchy, accidental, like, you know, it doesn't have a sense of like skill or mastery behind it. It feels like, you know, more amateurish and like it's less of it's being done on purpose. And now like the things that are happening there, the stylization of it is feeling a lot more purposeful. And like the control of the value is a lot stronger. Like the control of the edge is a lot stronger. I'm learning more about facial anatomy, about color. My coloring process has always been a little chaotic. And this has been an interesting platform for me to test out like odd color palette choices and like different coloring methods and seeing what's working out and what isn't. And so like today is not like a day where I have kind of like peak ability here. Like it's not showing off the very best of what I can do. But it also is like, you can see that in less time, those other ones, those early ones, they took me about 2 hours. I'm at about an hour and 15 right now. And everything's already kind of smoother, more intentional. It's more like there is a more dynamic range of value. It's more tightly controlled. There's more smoother rendering. mixed with like looser mark making. And then I'm also going to go in and probably get a lot more precise. Like the thing I was thinking about doing right now was actually to go in and get precise with the eyes, to pick out key areas to really show like the top level of precision. I'm screwing up Anya's access to her reference here.
Oh, it's fine.
I can even do this on a separate layer so that if I ever want to look back and go, aha, see, that's what that final step looks like. Like the way I work also leaves like a pretty good record of the overall art making process here. So not only am I going to have all of those JPEGs to go back to, but I also am going to have all these PSDs that are going to show how I made all the pieces and what order I answered all the problems in. From Mr. Mike from the Discord chat, can you give some advice to improve my art? I'm studying How to Draw by Scott Robertson, but I feel like my visual perception is not so good. I'm new to making digital art, and other things I do is basically the things I do is because I already come from doing other things in traditional. Other things in traditional. Like, I think that there is a misconception that like digital art, I mean, digital art is kind of its own medium, but it's like a lot of those, you don't need to do things very different from how you do them traditionally. I would say with digital painting, if you're, let's see, it's hard to give advice without having actual real contact with your work. But as far as perception goes, like that's one of the main things that I'm studying here with these studies is this like ability to spot what's in the reference and then feel like I understand what are all of the visual components that are making up the final image. Because like teasing them apart and sort of efficiently reassembling them is kind of the challenge of doing these things. And so I feel like doing photo studies has really given me a huge advantage in being able to like make my perception stronger. Because it's not just giving my perception of like copying a reference stronger, it's helping me see what's in my own paintings more clearly. I think that the best path towards improving as a digital artist is to just try to do it from start to finish, and like make sure that you pick out like the kind of piece that you want to make, set a goal for yourself, and as you start to try to make it, identify where you're running into problems, and like look up what you need to solve those problems in that moment, push past them, and move on to the next phase of the painting. Like the trick is that you just always need to be finishing stuff. So if you're going to start like a painting, get it to some version of done and then move on to the next painting. And always be like getting things done and finishing them and moving on, rather than like laboring over this like desire to want to fulfill a perfect vision of who you are as an artist. This desire to like be good and like look a certain way, I think it's a trap. Like I have this vision of the way I want to be able to paint these studies, and I'm always experimenting with solutions to be able to get that done. But I also am, I'm only able to do so much on any single session. And it's through the repetition between all the sessions that I feel is ultimately getting me to accomplish my goals. I hope that helps. Try participating in the dailies. Do simple studies every day and mix it in with the personal pieces that you're doing. Try to see if you can finish a personal painting every single week. A weekly schedule for finishing paintings is something that I held myself to for a long time when I was improving, and it worked out fantastic. I got a lot of really important work done very quickly by holding myself to a weekly schedule. And then when I do private mentoring, I am always trying to get people to start and finish things on a weekly basis. With the private mentoring time, I'm trying to get people to reserve a significant amount of time for their work when they're working with me, because we have kind of a limited window together. And so I'm always trying to get them to finish like multiple pieces per week. Like somewhere between 3 to 7 pieces a week is how much I aim for with the mentorships. So if you're just doing it self-directed, I'd say finishing 1 a week is like actually not that out of the question. And you may think, well, I want to do something more ambitious, something that I couldn't finish in a week. It's like, okay, yes, but I would say keep pushing.
Mandela has a question for you.
Yeah, like if you feel like there's ideas that would take more than a week to finish, like then do what you can to finish it in a week, have it be bad, and then in future weeks attempt to do the same scope, but do the same scope again and see how close you can get to that target. Were those things that you learned goals of yours or intended knowledge? Did you have any specific goals when you started? Specific goals for learning from the studies? FXH Sculptor, rating with a party of 12. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I always love getting raids from you. Hey, hello. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, my goal with the studies was to see what happens if I studied, because I'd never studied before.
You said unintended.
I meant unintended. Oh, okay. Were all the things you learned goals of yours or unintended knowledge? Unintended knowledge. I feel like all of it was kind of unintended knowledge. Like, I wanted to do better studies, and like, because I tried to do one and I was just doing a shit job of it. And I thought, well, if I do such a bad, if I know I could do better. I know it's possible for me to do better. So I was like, okay, well, if I want to do better, the only real path to that is for me to just get my reps in. And so I was committing to doing these daily. And I was like hanging out on Discord, doing them with people. And then at some point I decided I was going to start taking them to Twitch. And it wasn't like, it was like, okay, well, of course I wasn't very good at them at first because I had never done them before. Like, you're always going to be bad at something you've never done before. And then I started to get better at them because I'd done a lot of them. And like, that's just how it works. There's not a lot of mystery in it. I always had ambitions of like things I wanted to be in there that I didn't quite know how to do. But that's just like my curiosity about the kind of art that I want to make is always kind of changing and evolving. And there's like things that inspire me that I want to try out. And it's hard to do that with like mainline pieces, especially if it's going to go into a commercial product. Like it's going to be a print or it's going to be part of a book or something. It can be a little scary to experiment on that stuff. But when it comes to studies, you can just like let them be bad. And that was, to me, like the big revelation, the big value in it. It was like, I can just be bad more often. Being bad at art more frequently felt great.
It is scary though.
It's a little scary. I don't know. I'm kind of over it. Like, I look at these references and I'm like, ooh, this one's going to be a pain in the ass. And then I just go, well, it's the next in the list. I'll just do it. Because like sometimes when I feel like I'm going to do something really poorly, I end up doing really well with it. And I know sometimes when I think I'm about to do really well with something, I do poorly with it. And it's like not a thing I have control over.
I think that's with a lot of people actually.
Yeah, I think a lot of people experience that.
Like when you're out of your, what do you call it?
Out of your element?
Yeah, it sometimes makes you more focused.
Yeah.
And then you can surprise yourself quite easily.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I think about that a lot where I'm like I'm going to be, if I'm going to be trying something that I'm like really unfamiliar with, something that I think I'm weak at, I might end up, I feel like I'm going to fail and I concentrate super hard on it. And then sometimes those turn out to be some of my best pieces. And it's like just sticking myself in a situation where that has the potential to happen over and over again, like every day, it's made me very, very comfortable with like the potential of failure and like the possibility that things are going to be going bad, and like it makes it like not so painful when I look over at a piece and I'm just like, yo, this is not it. And at first I was thinking I was going to do an hour, but now I'm sticking to about a 2-hour time limit on these, and I'm just like, if it gets to 2 hours and it really sucks, I might poke a few more minutes at it loosely, hoping that I can salvage it. But in a lot of cases, I'm just like, well, that was a good shot. I got another one tomorrow. You enter the flow state when you're in between confidence and struggle. Yeah, microdose with the micro wisdom. It's true. Lots of people have identified it, recognized it. Is it the bottom of her lip at the bottom of this thing?
I've messed that up also. But I cannot erase mine, I think, at this point.
I wonder if I can just, well, I can rubber stamp. I wonder if I can rubber stamp it down a little bit and make that happen.
Yeah, I did stuff with a pencil, so I would have to erase by a bunch, and I don't think I want to at this point. I could try to make your lips bigger. Big lower lip.
I'm looking here if I accentuate that a little bit, if it's going to read a little clearer, make the whole thing look a little better.
I feel like I'm making it worse now rather than better.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah. There's like a little bit of a chin shadow also that I cannot quite get in there. Just this little like dimple thingy.
Chin shadow? Oh, the little dimple under the...
Just like that.
Oh yeah, the little dimple underneath the lip.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, you zoomed out again.
Yeah, I zoomed out on the reference, and now you can see where you're going again.
I can see the things that I wanted to paint.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. That's what I get for being in the office with you.
Yeah, that's what you get for being in the office with me, taking over my office space. How dare you. Hey, Nelson. That perceived easy, hard difficulty of a piece versus performance is like a weird inverse Dunning-Kruger effect. Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's a well-known phenomenon. I gotta make sure these little things on the side actually feel like hair, not just like some sort of weird alien growth coming out the side of her head.
Turn it into horns.
Oh yeah, I could turn it into something, be creative, and make it like give her a gun. She's like, that's just like shorthand for like, let's give it a twist. She's got a gun.
I didn't know what to do at the top of her head, so I kind of ended it in my own way.
That's good. I'm looking forward to seeing your version of it.
There's a Nelson Blake that says, hey.
Yes. Mr. Books. Do you remember back when we were in Atlanta and we would go to those life drawing events?
Yeah.
He knows the guy who would run the life drawing events.
Ooh.
Brian Stelfreeze.
I only remember Brian Stelfreeze and how wonderful he was at what he did, or is. I haven't kept up.
What about that awkward, muscular Asian guy? You remember him? that I made it eat. They had that I made drink hot sauce that one
I
time.
you drinking hot sauce with it.
Oh wait, no, I tried to get him.
Didn't.
I
You
tried to
drank both of them.
I tried to peer pressure him into it, and then
And it didn't work, so you
and it didn't work, so I ended up
drinking
drinking both of the hot sauces. Yeah, flex on him.
And then you regretted it later.
Did I regret it later?
A
I
little
don't feel
bit.
like I regret it now.
Well, enough time has passed. It does not matter. Man, that was a different lifetime.
Different lifetime, back the
Yeah.
Atlanta times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like some of the subtleties in the eyes actually kind of came together. But like the big thing that I feel like I keep learning and then fucking up over and over again is this idea that like I'm always trying to make things kind of linear and edgy. Like, and when I soften it all up a little bit and just bring in like some more painterly marks and like let things kind of come in and out of focus and like let light bounce around the canvas a little bit, it all ends up feeling much more natural. And like, it's not my instinct to do that. It's always been my instinct to try to like have really hard edges with a bunch of blending in the middle of it. And this more painterly approach is the thing that keeps kind of halfway bubbling up, but only late in the process, like now when it's like at the end of the timer. And I'm just remembering it again, and I'm wondering, ooh, how much can I get away with in the next 30 seconds?
You have 30 seconds left?
No, I've got 0 seconds left, but
Oh.
time to log out is what it is. I'm trying to figure out what I want for final details. I think I'm going to add a little bit of a soft light to exaggerate some volumes and also add a little bit of stylization to the background. I maybe should have done this earlier. I think I got these curls. I keep forgetting those curls in the back were there. Boo.
Oh, you should make a study though. I hate doing studies by myself, but whenever
Every time I
there's
look
more
here, it makes
people-
me want to study too. That's the point. That's what we're doing here. Anya's is coming out really cool.
I don't normally do studies.
I can't wait for you guys to see what Anya's working on.
But we are looking at it in a dimmed light. Who knows what it actually looks like?
In the cold light of day.
Yeah. There, I can actually go and post it if you want it on Discord. I just need my phone.
On Twitch? Oh yeah, you did post on the Discord, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, the collective study time I think is one of the key things that I enjoy about doing this. It's like getting other people to kind of do it along and getting to see them enjoy it along with me. Because like, I mean, I've had fun getting better, but like working on stuff together like this is really the most fun part. Okay. So let's bring in a little volume. It's maybe a little overdoing it. This is the sort of thing I would dial back if it was one of my personal pieces, but I'm gonna dial it back just a little bit. And then I also am kind of curious if a last minute gradient map gives me a little extra free juice. Any free juice to be had here? Maybe. Maybe. Oh. Ah. Lesser version of that, maybe. Yikes. Ugh. Oh, you know what? What if I gradate this? What if I do a gradient across the length of it? Fuck this. I'm done. All right, Anya's up on the Discord. Wanderings are. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to save this out and I'm going to put it up on the Discord. This is not a strong day. This is a weak day. I learned lessons and I accomplished goals. And so it's a win, even if it's not a good piece of art, which is great.
Did you do a giveaway today?
And we gotta announce the giveaway. Who won the giveaway today? Pyromania won the giveaway. Congrats to Pyromania for winning the giveaway. We only had 7 entries. A lot of you seem like you're already equipped, but I know some of you need these things. So congrats, Pyromania. I'm gonna DM you and I'll get your shipping address, and you know, I will send you your tablet. All right. Any other closing business? I know
You
there's
should figure out who you're rating.
Well, I gotta figure out who I'm rating. That's for sure. Dustin, you got a raid target for me? And then, oh, there's something else I was gonna say.
Oh yeah?
Yeah?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not in your head. You can show him my piece though if you want.
Checking out 3 panel. Oh, okay. I can show you everybody Anya's thing. Dailies.
Ta-da!
Open in browser.
That looks like a creepy doll.
This is Anya's version of it. I like that. See, this is the thing I can never quite get enough of in my own stuff, is I always want to do something that's a little bit more stylized, and I always end up trying to stick really close to proportions of stuff. And I feel like if only I would be a little bit more daring with like my proportions, that I might have more fun with it. So I really like Anya's approach to it here.
Well, that was very unintentional though.
You're going to get a bone zone. Dancing skeleton to celebrate the success of your art today. I swear there was something. Raid candidate Neomi.
Oh, the weekly challenge.
What about it?
I don't know. Somebody said the weekly challenge.
I was going to
for the
announce
next
a new
one.
weekly challenge. Anya, with your help, I think we can do
yeah,
this.
with my help.
What's the weekly challenge going to be for next week?
Can we do something animal related?
Yeah?
Like, haven't done animals.
Haven't done animals. What should we do for animals?
Okay, this is gonna sound stupid.
Okay.
So just veto me.
Yeah?
Like, you know how somebody, like, people always say, like, when I was a kid, I drew this awesome picture of this thing, and it was, like, the best, like, shark or whatever picture that I ever painted, because just, like, make the most awesome animal that you can.
What?
Yeah, see? Told you.
Draw an awesome animal?
Yes.
Just draw an awesome animal? Like
Yeah,
a
really,
study?
Really, really awesome. No, not as, well, out of imagination.
Out of imagination.
Yeah, just, like, the most, like...
Can we do it? How about this? We modify it and we make it one of my classic mentoring assignments.
Which is what?
Animal deity.
Okay, yeah.
Where it's like, so it's like animal hybrids. No, we're not doing the furries challenge. It's not gonna happen. Animal.
Like a Egyptian and like a cat. Like.
No. I mean, it's open ended. It was something. I think it was the assignment. Sometimes I gave out was bug gods.
Okay.
Like a deity for different species of bugs.
Mm.
So, you know, like a praying mantis god or a ladybug, you know, a ladybug god. Like, what is the grand deific version of these bugs look like?
Okay.
But I think it's more interesting if it's open it up to all animals.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say animal gods for next week. This is challenge. I'm gonna post the challenge before I stand up, but after I log out.
Princess Mononoke style.
Well, those are just big animals.
Well.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? Well.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Animal gods, like you can make it like a bit personified, or you could make like what does the most epic godly fox that is descending from the sky look like? Or like, a giant elaborate forest spirit that is like deep in the forest or like deep under the ocean. What does the god of sharks look like?
Was he? But like Princess Mononoke had this forest spirit. This was.
Yeah, it'd have a forest spirit.
an
It's good.
animal kind.
Yeah. That's what I'm more like the forest spirit from
Yes.
Princess Mononoke than like the giant wolf that just has the voice of Gillian Anderson. All right, so I'm gonna write it up. I'll write it up. I'll post it in a few minutes. You'll see it over on the Discord. There's a channel for challenge prompts, weekly challenge prompt. I'll put it in here. I'll give all the deets for it. And next week on Friday, we're gonna take a look at all your entries. And if you want to, you can even hop on stage with me and talk about what you've been making. Thanks everyone for joining. We're gonna go raid Neomi, who looks like they're doing a little Bob Ross draw along, which is a fun idea. Raid Neomi. Neomi. Typing. Raid mode. Activate. Thank you everyone for showing up, and I'll see you on Monday.